Hi guys, Jeff Gamble, Indianapolis, Indiana, and I actually wanted to take a couple minutes because Jennifer and I have partnershiped on a project and we need a huge favor. We actually want to share with you what we're doing, so in case you run into the right person, you have the ability to actually refer them to us. And the subject matter that we sat down and talked about was actually credit repair. And unfortunately, lots of people kind of have this need. I always ask people, do you know anybody that needs to increase their credit score? And 9 out of 10 people say, yes, me. Simply because even if you have decent credit, most people would like to improve their score, so that way better interest rates, obviously less to put down. You can't get a cell phone anymore without good credit. And unfortunately, I made some major mistakes growing up. I destroyed my credit early on. At 19, I decided to quit college, came home, told my mom, who's a school teacher, my dad, who's a college professor, that I was going to quit school and that I was going to start my own business. This was years ago. That conversation did not go over well at all. In fact, my family was pissed. My mom was like, that's a horrible idea. My dad was kind of more objective. He's like, well, it's going to take time. It's going to take this. It's going to take that. But anyway, I did it myself. Went out and started anyway. Unfortunately, that coming spring, I got sick, real sick. I found out I had cancer. I spent a year in the hospital, 2 surgeries, 6 months of chemotherapy. Came out on the other side, owed $200,000 in medical bills, to which my dad kind of jokingly said, it'd be really cool if you were a doctor or a lawyer, owing 200 grand. But unfortunately, that was the situation I was in. I was like, how am I going to get out of this? And that's what he asked. He's like, well, how do you plan on getting out of this? And I was like, well, the good news is being that I was hooked up to machines and just watching TV for hours, I saw a bunch of real estate programs on how you can flip houses and make money in real estate. So I think I'm going to go into real estate. That was a good idea. I started selling. I started making a ton of money. I ended up opening up my brokerage. I brought 15 people onto my team. I ended up flipping 18 houses in the Indianapolis area in about 36 months. In fabulous, fantastic money. Everything was going up, until 2008 happened. And in 2008, of course, 2007, 2008, the real estate industry crashed. Where I was getting the main source of money from, selling new houses, the builders started going under, the lenders started going under, and eventually I ended up in a situation where all of my deals were not happening. So I ended up going from my best month of $40,000 a month to nothing per month. And it's really hard to budget with nothing a month. If you've ever tried it, it's a horrible experience. I don't recommend it at all. But I ended up 6 months after that living on my friend's couch. I spent the last $1,000 I had on a FES pickup truck. If you don't know what that means, look it up. It's not a brand. But it was a POS pickup truck. It had no brakes. You had to put it in gear. It was a 4 on the floor, so that way it wouldn't roll away. One of those deals. And I ended up in front of an attorney. And the attorney said, look, we've added everything up, the houses, the real estate, all the bills, and I owed just under $3 million. So I don't know if you've ever messed up before, but messing up at the $3 million mark is huge. He's like, there is no payment plan for this. You have 3 choices. You can A, get on a plane and fly somewhere we can't find you, which sounded amazing. B, you're going to have to win the lottery maybe more than once. Or C, you're going to have to file bankruptcy and start all over again. So unfortunately, I chose C, Chapter 13, or I'm sorry, Chapter 7, where you wipe everything out and start all over again. And that was my only option because 13 wasn't even an option. For those of you, 13 is where you make payments. He's like, that's not even possible for you. You have to wipe it all out. So there I am on my friend's couch with my $600 pickup truck and a 4-something credit score, like 4 horrible credit score. A 400 is not good, by the way. So I was like, now what? So I ended up reading a book called Life After Bankruptcy. I ended up reading the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I ended up reading a book called Credit Repair for Dummies. And I sat down and I put together a plan, a 6-step system to put my credit back together. And 7 months from the date of that bankruptcy discharging, I took my credit score from that like 400 something all the way up to 700. And that's where people said, well, how did you do this? And I developed a 6-step system to do that, but what I realized is I had some knowledge most people didn't have. I had some skills I had some connections most people didn't have because I had access to friends that were attorneys, and I had, basically been in the industry for a decade of working with credit, so I just understood how the credit bureaus worked, what to write, and where to send it. And I had all of the stationery and laptop. I had all the stuff I needed in front of me. I realized the average person couldn't do that. So that kind of fast forward, I've been helping people just kind of with hints of what to do, helped tons of people. December of 2017, 2 friends called me and said, hey, we've actually seen a service that could do all the stuff you've always told us, but this service does it without you having to know how to do anything. And I was like, interesting, I've never heard of that. What is it called? They said FES, Financial Education Services. They're out of Farmington Hills, Michigan. They've been doing credit repair or restoration since 2004. I was like, oh, that's awesome. How does that work? And they said, well, not only do they do credit repair, but they have a whole list of services. They do credit repair. They have something called Smart Credit Builder to teach you how to build credit. They have credit attorneys in case there's a litigation or payment plan that needs to happen. They have Smart Credit, which is like Credit Karma on steroids. They have LifeLock to protect your identity. They have a program called Debt Zero to get you out of debt and keep you out of debt. They have a program called My Care Plan, which provides a will and a trust, which is like, anywhere between $500 to $1,000 to get that done. That's included. They have something called Financial Lockbox. Financial Lockbox puts all of your important documents in one place in cyberspace, encrypted with a beneficiary, so that way you can press a button and get all your documents back. And then they have a travel portal to save money on travel, which I just saved $50 when we went up to Michigan. They have a shopping portal through like hundreds of major companies, Walmart, Macy's, all these big names have joined it, where you're just getting cash back. It's like 1% to 3% back. And then they have a discount prescription. All of that's packaged together in this package called the Protection Plan Membership, and the membership's $89 a month, and it's month to month. And I was like, wow, that's cheaper than most people's just credit repair, let alone all the other stuff. The other stuff's just buffet. You use as much as you want. I said, wow, that's incredible. What else? They said, well, it's a $99 one-time setup fee, and then it's $89 a month thereafter. So you're looking at $188 to get started in the program if you need to basically get your credit done, and then from there, you pay $89 a month until you get to where you need to be. Most of the membership is available. It has stuff in it that you'd probably want to use forever. So if you're getting your money's worth, people keep it for the rest of the stuff. I said, fantastic. What kind of turnaround time? They said, well, just like the law works, it takes 40 to 45 days to get the first round of updates back, so that's where most people see changes in their score. But some people see results, right away in that first round. Some people, it's going to take several rounds. This is just my personal experience doing credit for years and helping people with it. Most of the people that I sit down and show what to do, it's going to take them somewhere between 90 days to 6 months to kind of get everything back on track. Some people I've worked with over a year in rare cases that have just had so much stuff on their credit that we have to sit down and figure that out. But they said for this service, obviously there is no guaranteed time frame because there is no guaranteed situation. Everybody screws it up differently and everybody fixes it differently. So that's just the way that credit works. So I was like, awesome. I was still skeptical. I went ahead and signed up in the program just to see what it would do. And it was automated. I basically opened up my laptop, clicked in, clicked the right buttons and said, do you want to get started? Do you want to obtain your credit report? I said, yes. My credit report came up, all 3 bureaus, all 3 scores came up, and then a little window popped up and said, this is all the negative stuff that we found on your report. Now, my credit score was pretty decent. I was in the mid-600s. But these 3 things that were on my credit were old. They were paid off. But the credit bureaus considered them negative. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's dispute them. So I sent out everything that I needed to send out to them. They sent me a packet in the mail, I got it like 5 days later. I opened it up, all 3 bureaus, all 3 packets to all 3 bureaus were already there. All I had to do was sign them, put it in an envelope, mail them in. Towards the end of January, I got an email on my phone. It said, congratulations from FES. We've removed 2 of the items off your credit report, and your score has increased 41 points. Now, the 41 points I wasn't as impressed with. What I was impressed with is I didn't have to talk to a single person to do this. It was all done through the computer. All I had to do was fill the stuff out and send it in. So I was like, wow, this is actually a very sellable, very marketable program. Jennifer, as you know, worked in the mortgage business. So when I shared this with her, she's like, oh my gosh, I've talked to so many people who have these credit issues. This would be incredible for, the group of people that I've already talked to. I know this is a problem. I see this as something we can help people with. So we've decided to partnership together. So number 1, we're looking for customers, anybody who needs a membership. So if you know of anybody, please refer them to her. If you yourself need it, you know how to get a hold of her. Just text message or instant messenger. Secondly, the company's expanding. We're looking to expand, and we're looking for sales reps, both part-time and full-time. So just kind of a quick overview of what we're looking for. Anybody who has sales experience, customer service experience. The background we're looking for is somebody who's looking to work part-time that doesn't mind doing a sales-based job. If you know of somebody who has that background, this pays very lucrative. It pays $100 per client. plus $12 a month every time they make their payment, so there is a residual side to it. And what we're personally doing is we're building an office here in Indianapolis, and I'm actually building offices around the country because that's my background. I'm a recruiter, I'm a trainer, sales trainer. So if you know of anybody that has that background that's looking, please refer them our way. We just appreciate everybody for watching the video. Wanted to update you on what we're doing and how we're putting it together. Thank you for the favor of just watching and understanding what we do. So if you run into the right person, you can refer them to us. We appreciate it. Get a hold of Jennifer. If she can't answer the question or get you in front of the right person, I will be able to, and she can do that. So thank you guys for watching. We'll talk to everybody real soon.